The Brooklyn Nets are back in action on Saturday night when they visit the Timberwolves. The Nets are coming off their first game under interim head coach Kevin Ollie on Thursday, where the team was blown out by the Raptors. So let's talk some Brooklyn basketball. I'm going to do it with a writer for Nets Daily and Nets Republic, Brian Fleurantin, my guy, Clara Barton High School alum, two here for you right there. Always got to represent that, Brian. Brian, how's it going, man?
Good morning. I'm doing good. What's going on?
Ain't much, man. I'm doing good. A little bit better than the Nets are these days, which we are going to get into. And, Brian, I want to talk to you about this because on Thursday, Kevin Ollie, he made his debut as Nets interim head coach, but they were trounced north of the border 121-93. Got to ask you this. When you watch that game, did it look to you like a Brooklyn team that was playing hard? Because the effort, in my eyes, just seemed to not be there.
It feels like for the Nets, they're a team that really isn't able to withstand storms. Like if you look at their last couple of losses, they've let teams go on one gigantic run and then it's just over in a hurry. Think back to the game against Cleveland on February 8th. They let up a 21-0 run right after halftime. We just saw them lose by 50 to Boston last week. And even in Thursday's game, it was close for a while. And then Toronto just turned the gas on in the fourth quarter. So I think it's a situation where the team, they let themselves get down and then they make one kind of medium push and then everything just falls apart afterwards. So I think for the Nets, it's a problem where they're not doing enough good things. They're not getting out in transition. They're not getting back on defense. They're not really getting into the offense in the ways that they need to. And it winds up leading to a snowball where things are going wrong in an instant and then just gets worse and worse and worse in a second.
Yeah, and you definitely saw that in Toronto the other night where things just got, as you said, worse and worse and worse. Now, when you look back at that game, Ollie's first game, Cam Johnson and Dennis Schroeder, they both came off the bench in that one. What did you make of the move, especially with Cam Johnson and both players out of the starting lineup? And is it a move, if they stay on the bench, is this a move that can benefit this Nets team that's still trying to make the postseason?
I'm kind of surprised that CJ came off the bench. I understand he's had some issues throughout the year, so you may want to limit his minutes in that regard. But the thinking with the Nets this season was we need to surround Ben Simmons with as much shooting as possible, and we need to get spacing. We need to have space so he and Claxton can kind of be able to operate together to see how that works. So putting Cam Johnson, who despite his struggles is shooting about 39% from 3-point range in the season, in favor of Dorian Finney-Smith, who, while 37% is good, he doesn't sort of engender the fear from deep in the ways that Cam Johnson does. So I was pretty surprised that the Nets coaching staff did that. And I think that going forward, I would want to play Cam Johnson because for the Nets offense is so flat and you need that shooting. You're going to need someone who can shoot, who can drive to the basket in the ways that CJ does. So I think for Kevin Ollie and the staff, they have to figure out a way to sort of maximize those minutes for Cam Johnson, getting him out on the court and getting him in a situation where he can sort of hit those 3-pointers to open things up for everybody else.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if he can get back there and open up things for everybody else. Will this open up more opportunities for Ben Simmons when he plays to a drive and attack the rim? That's something Kevin Ollie said that he would like to see. We'll see if that happens. Now, Brian, the Nets, they are in Minneapolis on Saturday night. They're looking to bounce back with a win against the Wolves, who've got the best record in the West. In your eyes, what are the keys to Brooklyn pulling off a big road win on Saturday night?
Well, one thing that's going to help them is that Minnesota played an intense game last night on ESPN against the Milwaukee Bucks. So you may have that national TV hangover in a sense. And also, I believe Rudy Gobert left the game last night with a little bit of an injury. We'll see if he plays tonight. But I think the key for the Nets is they've got to get out and run. You've got a team who's on the second leg of a back-to-back. You yourself are starting the first game of the 3 games of 4 nights road trip. So you've got to have maximum energy tonight. You've got to get out and push. You got to get out and run. Get out in transition. Really try to force the issue because having to deal with Rudy Gobert and Karl Towns is going to be a tough task. They couldn't do it when they played them in Brooklyn last month. So tonight they've got to get out and run early, run off, and really try to force turnovers and really try to not have to deal with Minnesota in the half court because they're a fantastic team. They're excellent. They do a lot of things well. Anthony Edwards is amazing. So if you're able to sort of force the Wolves into turnovers and sort of play on their tired legs a bit, that's going to open things up for the Nets.
All right, we'll see if that can open things up for the Nets and they can bounce back and get a win in Minneapolis. Brian Fleurantin, he's going to be all over it, the great writer for Nets Daily and Nets Republic. Also, Clara Barton High School alum. doing great things as
Yeah.
always. Brian, appreciate you, man. We'll talk soon.
Thank you. Appreciate you.